Hello internet, and today's video is going to be another book opinion. Those videos in which I tell you my opinion on a book, and today's book is going to be Tales of the Peculiar by Ransom. This is a short story collection written by him under the premise of this would be the stories that all the peculiar children would know. It's a compilation of short stories that are either stories that they would have been told as kids, or they are stories that give a little bit of history about peculiardom and the whole peculiar society. So I liked all of these stories. I thought they were very peculiar. Like, they didn't read like traditional fairy tales or short stories. They were very weird, and they followed within that same vein that his original trilogy about these peculiar children go. The powers are very peculiar, the way that people act is very peculiar, everything's just peculiar, so I'm gonna keep saying so. What I love about Ransom Riggs's peculiar society is how very odd everything is and how very strange it all seems. Now, I read a lot of books that involve superpowers, that involve magic, so I like to pride myself in at least seeing one version or another of various superpowers, because it's just something I consume so often that it's really hard to completely awe me with something new. But Ransom Riggs does it, and I don't know how. I guess he just thinks really odd about what could be superpowers, which is a-okay with me. But there's one story in here about a girl who can see nightmares in your ear and like pull them out, and I've never seen that before. I've seen stories where you can give people nightmares and you can go into people's dreams, but never seen like a physical waggly thing such as a nightmare and interacting with this nightmare as if it's a living thing. I also liked how this book had a little historical aspect to it. While the majority of these stories were told as, hey, these are just fairy tales or little stories that the peculiar children are told to give them some sort of moral, to entertain them, a couple of the stories have a more historical history sense when it comes to the peculiar world. Like, we learn more about the bird women, how they came to be, how they created loops, the original one, all of this, and how it started and what they believe truly happened, and how this whole method of keeping peculiars really got its beginning. I liked seeing in one of the stories, we got to see a scene that was told to us in one of the books. I believe it's the second book, when we meet the peculiar animals. There is a story in there about them, about like this whole little story about them, and it just tells you the story about an environment you see in a past book. So it does definitely have those little short stories that are just pure, here is a story that peculiar children would be told, but it also has like these historical sort of stories that give you a bigger depth to the peculiardom and the history of them and the kind of stories that they tell and the legends that they have. So I really like this. I like it because I liked how weird and odd the characters are, how weird and odd their powers are, how they react to the world around them. I think it follows very much in the same vein of his original trilogy, so if you enjoy that, then go ahead and pick this book up. You'll probably enjoy it as well. So that's all I have to say on that. And if you like what you're seeing here and you want to continue to see more, click all those bunnies down below, and goodbye, internet.